Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is John Canal. I have a rather disturbing story to tell. My mother was murdered here in Winnipeg, like thousands of others deemed too poor to care for. And while she's being murdered in the hospital, I call the police. You gotta help save my mom's life. She's being beaten up, tortured. They're trying to murder her. And the cops, they don't say that they're not showing up. They just say, "Oh yeah, well we'll take your report," but they never show up. My mom's tortured for a month, and then finally they tried to murder her once, catch her at it. Then they tried to murder her again just before we were ready to leave, and they succeeded the second time. And when I went to the police again, they admitted that they never had an intention on investigating ever. That they never do. This is where they murder the poor, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada here, and they murdered my mother. So it's really unfortunate that we're in this circumstance trying to communicate to you that this is your life forsaken also. I mean, if they can kill anybody, it could just as soon, you're hoping not to be, of course, someone of your family, but other families are falling because we're poor and we don't have ways of fighting back because the justice position of our society has denied ourselves to be treated unjustly by the wickedest of evils ever. These are people that get off on beating up little old ladies. Nurse Delaney at the Health Science Center there punches my mom in the face. She doesn't get arrested. They poisoned my mom. They were suffocating her. I said, "Stop suffocating my mother." I said, "Don't be cruel. She's at the end of life. She's had multiple organ failure. So we're suffocating her." "No, you're not fucking suffocating her." I get her doctor there at the bedside ordering the nurses, "Stop suffocating Jenny Canal." Right? And they have to say that that's what they've done. And then I discovered that they continued on after the doctor had ordered them to stop. And then the next day my mom was pronounced dead from organ failure, they said. But she recovered from that, and we discovered she had been poisoned. And the cops wouldn't show up. So I have all this as evidence, all the interactions with me having discussions with doctors, and nurses, and the police refusing to do what's right here. Because I've already solved the case, they need to face fair death sentences. These two doctors, Dr. Collister and Dr. Chiswick. Then we discovered that they doctored the medical records. Another crime, another federal offense. So I need your support here to realize that we can't allow them to do such things in our better names. Right? Please, do you understand what I'm saying? I hope so. It's pretty tough, the attack is against myself included. I'm in a threat here to lose my home if I don't secure some way of earning some money like really soon. I'm facing dire circumstances. And if there's anybody out there who wants to give me some offers, sure could use the opportunity. It's unfortunate too in our wider world here with Trump and Hillary. Neither candidate offering you good ideas as to where we need to go to recoup our stolen trillions and trillions that were extorted and embezzled. Everybody just seems to forget that. That's a lot of money. And blaming the Muslims is very ungodly. We need to blame suspects, criminal suspects. Right? And we don't want to be, neither candidate will allow you to understand that we, the people in Syria, believe we live in a democracy. We cast paper ballot elections for those that have the better ideas. You see, you're forbidden that. Alex Jones will never allow you to hear those ideas as expressed by we, the people. Right? He won't allow freedom to reign, where we represent the rights of others as if they were of ourselves included. Why do we want to cheat the people in Syria, Alex Jones and Mr. Trump? Perhaps Mr. Trump doesn't know any better. I could be, but Alex Jones certainly does, and he doesn't will you to understand that the Boston bombing needs to be investigated also. The 1.6 gallon pressure cooker doesn't fit in Johar's bag, so we need to find out how the explosives got into the scene. And if we investigate it, we will most undoubtedly come to the same suspects. The WMD contingent out of New York City are present in those video frames, and they were terminated days prior. Like, they're not even working for the government, yet they're wearing their WMD costumes. So that's got to be, and it can't be explained away so easily, because they're carrying the identical backpacks that contain the explosives. That's just the reality. We don't form a concrete certainty. We just follow the evidence trail, as it is on 9/11. Alex Jones' personal friend there, Anthony Schaefer, is sad to say complicit. Right? He's hired in 2002 to make up a story to try to connect Muhammad Atta to Al Qaeda, because he doesn't have any connections. He's snorting cocaine, drinking whiskey in the bars, hanging around with party goers, and being financed by Bush's business partner, General Mahmoud Ahmad. So Anthony Schaefer's hired in to kind of make up a story way after the fact, to try to draw him connected to Afghanistan somehow, because none of the other suspects are from Afghanistan either. So we need to be able to talk freely with the evidence as it stands here, irrespective of ego, and just do the best we can by measuring things to the best of our capabilities. And when we do that in science of virology, we discover, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You're putting the body under attack with attenuated virus strains that are known to advance to full-blown whatever. So peer-reviewed scientific studies dictate here in Canada that if you take your influenza shot, you're more likely to come down with the flu. So when those studies were released, there was an attempt made to contact all health ministers in every province to cause an immediate moratorium on any further vaccinations until we can get it straight as to what this means. But that never happened. Right? Manitoba's health minister said that, they just didn't do anything. They didn't want to warn anybody. They felt it better to see citizens in Canada succumb and die than to defend our lives. And that's what is taking place in Winnipeg. Thousands of victims are falling to murder, and the Winnipeg police laugh in your face too if you phone them up or just listen to the numerous phone calls that I have, or the in-person interviews that I've had with them, refusing to enforce the law in the defense of our innocent lives being stolen at the Health Science Center, taken against our wills to be poisoned, to die. That's wrong. We've got to do something about that. So I was hoping I could win the presidency, but I guess not too many people have heard about my platform positions on getting back all our stolen, our stolen losses here, the trillions of dollars, man. But people don't feel it important to forward that to you. It's too bad, because if you did start caring for yourself, you'd see that we could do a lot better than we've been dealt, cheated. We are at the casinos. They count credits as dollars, thereby giving them the opportunity to take any percentage that they will, which devastates our economy, because nobody's winning any prizes then, right? They could just take all the prize winnings themselves and just say, well, we paid it out, and that's what this phony mathematics says. Nobody here is competent enough in our newspaper and TV industries anyway to explain this to you. And if they did, of course you wouldn't want to hear it, right? Who wants to hear mathematics? Well, it means everything. It's a criminal action that's taken when they pocket upwards to and even more than 80%, while saying they're only taking 4%. So that's got to be corrected too. We got to understand how those crimes occur, how that fraud devastates places like Detroit. You take hundreds of millions of dollars out of the poor and desperate at the casinos, and then ship it off to the Bahamas or whatever. It's into some billionaire's pocket, and it's criminal theft, right? They cheated you as a sucker. If you found a magnet under the roulette table, you'd be pretty pissed off about that, and you'd expect some arrests to transpire. Well, that's what's not happening. People aren't getting arrested for warring democracies. For Saudi Arabia, Hillary Clinton giving Saudi Arabia all these weapons with Obama to war democracies because they don't want we the people to succeed in Syria, where they do as the American founding fathers envisioned, is exercise their own authority to mint their own money. They don't have a private company minting money, because if you did that, as it is in America, you'd be crazy. You're not. I mean, you're not informed enough to understand really what's transpiring. You wouldn't delegate that to a private company to mint money. It's worse than highway robbery, but that's what's going on. So that's why Obama and Alex Jones war you, American. They don't want you to know that, what it means to be a true American patriot constitutionalist. Now, Alex Jones fans or whatever, maybe they can't handle the info or whatever. Maybe he doesn't do it on purpose. You want to sell it to yourself. Whatever. It's still the reality that's not being questioned as to why we would accept these war criminals to escape our authority, bombing democracies. All his terrorists oppose elections. His moderate terrorists. And Trump doesn't... Trump almost did. He said, Hillary founded ISIS. And then he said, I'll take it back, So he was almost there, he was just about there. Well, right, that's right, yeah. But that's WikiLeaks too, eh? So, people will tune in to understand that Hillary is a serious demon witch of evil. No doubt about that. So I just want free communications, and I want a criminal investigation to transpire here in the city of Winnipeg regarding this mass murder scene continuing. They're still murdering the poor here. They get off on this, believing, I guess they do, that Satan somehow is so much more in control than God ever can be, because you, my listener, won't demand fair say likewise. Support my rise, because it's your rise. Support our rise to self-respect. Come on. No cop can stand in the light here with me and say it's not going to allow criminal investigations. Right, but I got these numerous recordings. Go listen to the cops say this to my face. So they're dishonorable, and they certainly don't represent the Winnipeg Police Department. But they insist that nobody at Homicide can learn of all these murders that are transpiring. So they get a guy at the desk, as they have here in Winnipeg, who personally is responsible for first-degree murdering his own father. So they get a cop that killed his father, and then they say, yeah, you'll be the guy to tell all these people that they don't get any investigations. Right? Because this is how he murdered his father. He took his father to the hospital, said, kill my dad, put him in comfort care, suffocate him. And that's what they did. They suffocated him, and they murdered him. And so he gets to steal all his dad's stuff and shit, I guess. But he did most definitely do this. So he doesn't want justice to come no matter what. Because he'd be facing maybe prison time himself for killing his dad like that. But if people understood what was going on, it wouldn't be happening anymore. They're all the victims that they con not knowing any better. They just figure, well, my mom or dad had to go to the hospital, and I guess we had to pull the plug or whatever, so the doctor tells you. But unfortunately, or as I witness in this crime scene, how they try to manipulate the victim, believing that blindness will ensue and you'll just have to go through fear and uncertainty to, in faith, trust what they're saying makes some sense somewhere, but not in your own consideration, right? They're telling me stop being cruel while they're suffocating my mom. That doesn't work. You got to stop this immediately. You're trying to kill my mother. See, I know right away what they're doing, right? But they were saying that to me. Don't be cruel. You know what you're doing, you witches. Fucking demon fucking witches, man. Wicked evil. They're punching out the elderly. Every single patient there is covered in fucking bruises. They keep you on for 6 to 8 months. So they poison you slowly over 6 to 8 months. Throughout that whole process, you're denied all medications that you might need. They're fucking psychopath, psycho crazy people, fuck. I couldn't even believe it either. I mean, that's part of the problem as to how I lose my mom's life. Because it's just, and then to have nobody to come to my aid, which is our aid, like the College of Physicians and Surgeons. They're trying to kill my mom. Yeah, we're not going to get involved. It's a criminal allegation. Well, save my mother's life. I go to the College of Nurses here in Manitoba. I go, you got to try to save my mom's life. They're torturing her, beating her up, trying to kill her. I want to get her out of this hospital and move her to another ward and get an investigation going. And then they play me. All these, a number of the those that are supposed to be responsible play me. You know, they say, "Oh yeah, we'll go take some information from you," and they never do anything. You know, like the cops. You know, they're just waiting for my mom to be murdered, and they say, "Ha, it's over now." Ha ha. Fuck, they're all complicit in killing the poor. They need to face judgment. Fair death sentences will be handed out upon easy convictions. We believe in God. We believe in freedom of the individual to be all we can be, civilized. There are first-degree murdering people here in the city of Winnipeg, and I'm calling a halt to it immediately. Whoever the president is, you side to stand right beside we the people here. We got to ensure that this isn't happening all across America likewise. Comfort Care, look it up. They deprive you your needed medications while suffocating you, giving you things like devil's breath, fentanyl, and so on. My mom's in no pain. What are you fucking doing, man? They're going against her will. My mom says she doesn't want any more medications. I say don't give her any more medications. We don't want any more of your poisons. And they can't, and so he says, okay, we won't do it. I walk out of the room for 5 minutes, they're fucking injecting her, fucking killing her right there on the day she's murdered. And I have it recorded. And the nurse says, yeah, she asked for it. You know, but it isn't the nurse's decision to decide whether a patient gets some medication or otherwise. It's the doctor who decides. And that nurse would know so. But she's in a conspiracy. She's all in her evilness. Perhaps the investigation will ferret out all the truth here on this relationship. But they are directly complicit in the murder of my mother. And I have all the evidence indicating they're for sure guilt, of which they have to serve fucking death sentences for. The cops don't want to make the arrest. They don't want to defend we, the people of Canada. We, the people of Canada, have to call a halt to this criminal transgression and demand our rights be respected. Fair say all the way means you win too, most especially. So give me a hand on this matter, please. Help save some innocent lives that could be stolen tomorrow. Do your inaction to click like for justice. We got to get back all the stolen money too in America, trillions of dollars. Justice on 9/11, Sandy Hook, and the Boston bombing. 7/7, of course, Peter Power. Easy one that one is, right? He's running a drill at the same time, the same location, and he can't tell you. Yeah, he can. That's called getting a warrant for his arrest. And tracking down the rest of the suspects. Come on, get it together, people. Okay.